All right. Next up, we are going to take a look at using the storefronts and the not defined curtain walls types. So I'm going to go back to my wall command, and I'm going to place some generic walls first. Just normal walls here. And let's go to my line command. All right, so we're going to look at three different types here. First one, we're going to look at a storefront for the front of a building. Then we're going to look at a side light, like a door with a side light and an interior space. And then we're going to look at a interior demountable partition. So that'd be something like a dirt or an all steel, an interior wall that you might see in an office space. So first one up here, let's go back to my wall command, and let's go to my not defined. All right, you can use the storefront one as well, but I want to teach you how to build it all the way up, and the storefront one will have some constraints on the grids, and this one we're going to do totally custom. So I'm going to go ahead and click to start this curtain wall and then click to end it. And you'll notice I am drawing it within another wall. And you'll notice I got an error there because I did just draw a wall inside another wall. So what I need to do is change the type here so that it creates its own space. And then we're going to click here on automatically embed. And there you go. So you can see the difference here that created. And I'm actually going to rotate this whole thing so that we have the front here. There we go. So when you model yours, model that maybe so they're both on the front here. But before, let's go back to when it was not embedded. So you can see what that looked like in 3D. You can see that it didn't undo it, so that's not helpful. Maybe if I just go back. Well, that's okay. We'll just leave it automatically embedded, but you would see it as an overlap there. So right now the height is unconnected 20 feet. Let's see, I know my levels are 12 feet high. Let's go ahead and adjust this to 10 feet. There you go, and you'll see that wall, because it's set to automatically embed, that wall is going to go right over the top. And so I'm going to go ahead and build my own storefront system here. If I go to my architecture tab, I go to curtain grid, and I'm going to click to place. You see that grid go in here in 3D. You can also do this in 3D or an elevation or a section. I'd like to do the floor plan I feel like it's a little bit easier to measure. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Well, I'll click that one to place. I am going to put a door in the middle. So I do want to make sure that that door, if I have a set dimension for that door, that I can adjust that. The way that I'm going to be able to do that is moving the grids here. And that is what you see. I'm getting that dash line there. That is the grid. So if I were to move this, you can see that adjusting there in 3D. So let's go ahead and put another grid in here for a transom. And I am going to do this one all the way across. And I'm going to do another one here below. I'm just going to do one segment here and one over here. I do want those to align, so I'm going to use my align tool. Oh no, that's going to give me two different grids because of the segments. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. I'm just going to click on this grid that I already created, and I can add or remove segments. So I'm just going to add a segment onto the other side. All right, same thing if I wanted to remove, you select the grid and you can remove it. Remember, this is just the grid. We're going to add mullions after this. All right, so now I have a nice opening here for my door. Let's go ahead and add the mullions in. And I can do that by these various options up here. So I can just go one grid line at a time if I want. That might take a little bit of time. I can go all grid lines. I can also just do one segment if I just wanted to do one little piece here. But I'm going to go all grid lines and quickly fill those out. I do want to delete this mullion again, similar to before. That is a trip hazard for the door. All right, so now I can switch out the door. I'm just going to hover and tab there. That's how I'm cycling through what I can select. Grab the panel, I'm going to switch that door out. All right, again, the swing's going to the inside. I'm going to switch that to go out. And then I'm going to take a look here. I'm going to put in a dimension and let's see what that interior, what this door is. So I want to go to the inside of the frame, right? For that's my true door width. So that's 5'10". So that's kind of a weird door width. So I'm going to adjust that to be 6 foot. So to do that, you're going to think that you can just grab the door, right, and make adjustments, but that's not how it works for the curtain walls. So for this, I need to go in and grab my grid, all right, and then I can move my grid, use my move command and move my grid 2 inches. There we go. So now I have a 6-0 clear door. We can check too. We want to see if that then, if it's not even on the sides, and it is not. So I can grab both of these grids. Let's see what's math there. We might need a couple of movements just because of math lack of skills here, but that's okay. I just accidentally deselected. So I'm going to select previous there and then move. There we go. All right, so now it's cleanly centered and we have a clear 6-0 door. All right, so there's our exterior storefront system. Moving inside here, go back to my wall command, WA for that shortcut for not defined. And let's make this, all right, is set to, so there you go. You can see kind of the overlap there because I had unset it to automatically embed. All right, so we'll leave that set and then I'll go to 10 foot again here. Just gonna rotate this so you can watch the 3D here as we build in the floor plan. All right, so similar thing here, I wanted to build in my grids and actually we'll make that 8 foot. It's more likely for what we're doing here. And for this one, I'm just gonna add 1 curtain grid and then mullions. You can see all the mullions there. I am gonna add a door. So I wanna grab that panel. I can do that in plan or in 3D. And this one, I'm just gonna do the single door. For office here, I do wanna delete that bottom mullion. All right, and there we go. We have a single door transom. Now, because this is an actual door family, it will still schedule in a door schedule, unlike the panels, or if you just tried to, use a panel here. This is actually going to track as a door within Revit, which is really important. So let's check our size here. Oh, so close, but that's not a door size. So I'm going to grab that grid, use my move command, and there's a clear 3-0 door. All right, last one here, interior demountable partition. If you're not familiar with these, I do suggest looking up manufacturers for that. DIRTT, D-I-R-T-T, is a good one. All of your major office systems furnitures, I believe, have them, such as All Steel, Herman Miller, Knoll. They have probably some version of them as well. So these are used, they typically do go floor to ceiling, and the reason for using them is that they can be disassembled and reassembled or relocated and reconfigured throughout the space. So if we were going to model one, I would use the curtain wall, not defined. All right, click to place. I do want that to go up to level 2. All right, and then I'm going to build it in my system. So I'm going to go ahead and architecture tab, so my grids. And I'm going to start in the middle. It is giving me kind of like an equals here by default. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. And then I'm going to do the same thing in this view. All right, I'm going to add my mullions. And now with these demountable partitions, you could have some different patterns. I'm going to just hover tab there till I get the grid. You might have segments that are, it's just telling me I'm going to delete the mullion, which is fine. So we might have kind of different patterns or segments that are going on here that you can customize. This might have been better to do before I had the mullions on here, so I don't keep getting these errors, but that's okay. All right, there we go. So we've got a little bit of a variation there now. And if I come in here and I'm going to hover tab and trying to get that panel, sometimes these can be hard to grab. There we go. And I'm going to switch that over to my solid. And I can also make new panels. If I go into my edit type, I'm going to duplicate. Let's do assign a different material to it. You can also, of course, create your own materials and assign for your custom. There's a lot of different panel types that are in here or that are allowed in these systems on glazing, tinted glazing, translucent, even like a three-form translucent panels with patterns, all that sort of stuff. So there's typically a lot of options there. And yeah, and then you can just, create different panel types and switch out these panels for what your design calls for. And it's not a very exciting one on the realistic, but that's okay. Um, and there you go. There are your three different types of ways that I like to use the curtain walls for storefront construction and exterior skin. Um, yep, and then from here, if you wanted to create different views, remember you can duplicate views and hide elements, or you can always also adjust crop regions to cut out certain objects of certain views.